Hello, my dear students. I welcome you once again to this current video lecture. As we know that in the last lecture, we started one important point from the chapter that is called as the factors affecting the strength of acids and bases. Among that, we started how inductive effect affects the strength of the acids. So for this purpose, we take the two different examples of the acids and compare the relative strength of acidity and how this inductive effect affects on that acidity value. So that two examples we studied in a last lecture. Now in the current lecture, we have to study some more examples on this topic, that how this inductive effect affects the strength of acids. So for this purpose, we take here the example number third for studying this particular effect of inductive effect on strength of acids. So this third number example is there, in which we take here halogen substituted acetic acids, halogen substituted acetic acids, halogen substituted acetic acids are are stronger acids than the acetic acids. Halogen substituted acetic acids are stronger acids than acetic acid. So this is our third example in order to study the effect of this inductive effect on this strength of acidity. So in this case, what we have to consider? We have to consider the halogen substituted acetic acid and the plain acetic acid. So as predicted in this question, this acetic acid is less acidic as compared to halogen substituted acetic acids. So for that purpose, I take here the different halogen substituted acetic acids. I take here acids like fluorine substituted acetic acid as F single bond CH2 single bond C double bond O single bond OH. This is the first example of halogenated acetic acid, that is called as the fluoroacetic acid, because fluorine is there. This is the first example of halogenated acid. Second is your Cl single bond CH2 C double bond O single bond OH. This is a second example of halogenated acid. The third example is there. This is bromine single bond CH2 single bond C double bond O single bond OH. This is called as the bromoacetic acid. The next example we may take here, that is iodine substituted acetic acid as this is iodine CH2 C double bond O single bond OH. And last we have to take here simple plain acetic acid, that is CH3 C double bond O single bond OH. So these are the 5 different examples of acids. Our main acid is the acetic acid, and the remaining 4 acids are called as the halogen substituted acetic acids. Now our aim is to give the justification why these halogen substituted acetic acids are stronger acids as compared to this particular plain acetic acid. So we know very well that as far as the inductive effect is present, it affects on the strength of acidity. So what happens in all these examples, the inductive effect is present. This fluoroacetic acid, chloroacetic acid, bromoacetic acid, iodoacetic acid and plain acetic acid, each acid has the presence of the inductive effect. So what type of inductive effect is there? We know very well that these halogens are called as the more electronegative atoms. That's why they have the tendency to attract the bonding electron pairs towards itself. So we can say that this type of electron density get transferred towards these halogens. So these halogens shows the minus I inductive effect. It shows the minus I inductive effect. So this has the presence of minus I inductive effect. In this case also, due to this chlorine, it also shows the minus I inductive effect. In this case also, this bromine shows the higher electronegativity. That's why it again shows the minus I inductive effect. This iodine also shows the minus I inductive effect, while this methyl is there. So this methyl, what happens, we know that this cannot show the minus I inductive effect. Instead it shows the plus I inductive effect, because it is a electron donating group, so it shows the plus I inductive effect. So in each and every acid of these halogen acids, minus I inductive effect is present, while in case of this plain acetic acid, plus I inductive effect is present. Now we know very well that as the strength of minus I effect increases, as the strength of minus I effect increases, it affects the strength of the acids, because if more and more minus I effect is there, that acid has the more acidity. Now as compared to all the halogens, the electronegativity of fluorine is more than that of the chlorine. It has a more electronegativity than that of the bromine, and bromine has a more electronegativity as compared to the iodine. So we know that the strength of this type of the electronegativity, due to the more electronegativity of this fluorine, it shows the higher strength of the minus I inductive effect. And as the strength of minus I effect is more, in this case what happens, this fluoroacetic acid is called as the more acidic compound. It is a more acidic compound as compared to chloroacetic acid. In the second case, this chlorine has the more electronegativity as compared to bromine. Therefore, the magnitude of this minus I effect is more than that of this particular bromoacidic acid. So again, it is a more acidic than bromoacidic compound. Again, this bromine compound has the more electronegativity as compared to iodine. So bromoacidic acid is more acidic. It is more acidic than that of the iodoacetic acid. And if we compare iodoacetic acid to that of the acetic acid, what happens in these iodoacetic acids, due to the presence of iodine, minus I inductive effect is present, while in the case of this acetic acid, there is a plus I inductive effect. And we know very well that as we consider the conjugate base of these particular two acids, this minus I inductive effect stabilizes the conjugate base of the particular acid due to the minus I effect. But in this case, due to the plus I effect, that conjugate base get destabilized, and that's how we can say that this iodoacetic acid is a more stable than that of the simple acetic acid. And this is the reason why these halogen substituted acetic acids are stronger acids than the acetic acid. So this is the explanation for that particular question. Means if we take more and more halogen atoms in our compound, then what happens, the strength of minus I inductive effect increases, and due to which the strength of acids again going on increasing. So among all these acids, this fluoroacetic acid is the strongest acids as compared to chloroacetic acid, bromoacetic acid, iodoacetic acid, and a simple acetic acid. So this is a example number 3. Now one more example we are going to take here for the effect of this inductive effect on acidity. So we take here example number 4, that is benzoic acid. We have to take here benzoic acid. Benzoic acid is stronger. Benzoic acid is stronger acid than the cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Is more acidic than the cyclohexane carboxylic acid. So this is a example number 4. Now first of all we have to draw the structure for both these acids. So we know very well this benzoic acid is there, this is aromatic acid. So we have to draw its structure. So benzene ring is there, this is a benzene ring, these are the 3 double bonds, and as carboxylic acid group is attached to this benzene, so it is a C double bond O, single bond OH. So this is the structure for benzoic acid. And next acid is a cyclohexane, means we have to take here cyclohexane ring, is there, it get attached to the carboxylic group COOH. Now we have to give justification why this benzoic acid is a more acidic, or it is a strong acid as compared to cyclohexane acetic acid. If we consider their pK values, the pKa for this benzoic acid, is equal to 4.1, and for this cyclohexane carboxylic acid, its pKa is a 4.86. So we have to give the justification. So this more acidity of this benzoic acid than that of the cyclohexane carboxylic acid depends upon what is the strength of carbon atom to which this carboxylic group is attached. So as we know that the percentage of S character, the percentage of S character increases, minus I effect. Thus percentage of S character increases, minus I inductive effect, and we know that as minus I effect increases, naturally the strength of acid increases. Now if we look towards this benzoic acid, what happens? The hybridization of the carbon to which this carboxylic group is attached. So what is the hybridization? This hybridization for this carbon, I write here, this hybridization of this carbon is sp3. It is a sp2, not sp3, it is a sp2 hybridization. While in the case of this cyclohexane carboxylic acid, the hybridization of this carbon is sp3. In this case it is a sp3. Now if we compare the relative hybridization of both these carbons, it is a sp2, that's why percentage of S character is more in this sp2, while in the case of this sp3 the percentage of S character is less. So the strength of minus I inductive effect is more in a first compound as compared to this second compound, and that's why we can say that in this first compound, due to the sp2 hybridization of this carbon, it shows the minus I inductive effect. Means what? These bonding electrons get pulled towards this carbon atom. So the bond between this oxygen and hydrogen becomes weak, and that's why it easily donates the proton, and that's why it is called as the strong acids. On the other hand, due to the sp3 hybridization of this carbon, instead of showing minus I inductive effect, it shows the plus I inductive effect, and that's why it donates the electron density towards this carbon, and that's why what happens, the tendency of this acid to donate the H plus is less as compared to benzoic acid. Again we can say that in the case of this benzoic acid, the stability of the conjugate base which is formed after the donation of this H plus is more due to the sp2 hybridization of this carbon, which show minus I inductive effect. On the other hand, the relative stability of the conjugate base which is formed due to this proton donation is less. Why it is a less? Because that conjugate base get destabilized due to the plus I inductive effect shown by this particular sp3 hybridized carbon. So these are the two different examples which affects the strength of acidity in terms of inductive effect. So first we studied here how these halogen substituted acetic acids are more strong acids as compared to acetic acid, and in the next example we studied here how this benzoic acid is a more acidic as compared to the particular cyclohexane carboxylic acids. So this is the effect of this particular inductive effect on strength of acids. Now once we studied this strength of acids, now we are interested to study how these inductive effects affects the next parameter of the organic compounds, that is called as the strength of organic bases. So we have to study here now strength of organic bases. Strength of organic bases. How these strength of organic bases get affected by the inductive effect. So first of all, we know very well that what is meant by the base. So base is such a substance which donates the lone pair of electron to the proton. So suppose if I consider here a B as an atom which has one lone pair. So what happens? This lone pair, it may use or it may donate to the given H plus ion. And as it donate the lone pair to the given H plus ion, what happens? There is a bond formation between this base to that of the hydrogen. So we can say that after the donation of this lone pair towards this proton, what happens? This B becomes positive. Then the difference between this base to that of the this compound is a difference of the presence of this proton. That's why this is called as the conjugate acid. This is called as the conjugate acid. This is called as a conjugate acid, while this is called as the base with lone pair. This is the base with lone pair. So this is the first definition of a base, that the substance which have or which donates a pair of electrons to the H plus, then that particular substance is called as the base, and after donation of this lone pair it forms the conjugate acid. While in a second case of the definition of this basicity, what happens? Base is such a compound, base is such a compound in which an atom must have a negative charge. The atom must have negative charge, then it is called as electron rich, then again it is capable to attack on this proton due to the electron rich nature of this atom. So again it forms a bond between this base to that of the hydrogen. So this is called as the base with negative charge. This is called as base with negative charge. Base with negative charge. So what happens? Again this base with negative charge, this base attacks now on this H plus. After the attack on this H plus, it forms one compound that is again called as the conjugate acid of the base. So this is the conjugate acid. So in a short, we can say that these are the two different cases as far as the basic compound, a basic substance is considered. So base compound is of two types. In a first type of the basic compound, we can say that that base have a atom which must have a lone pair, and due to the presence of this lone pair, it is called as electron rich. As it is electron rich, it attacks on the particular proton, that is H plus. After the attack of this lone pair on this proton can be takes place, it forms one compound, and that compound is called as the conjugate acid. While in a second case, what happens? A certain bases are there which have the negative charge on atom. That's why again it is called as electron rich. As it is electron rich, it attacks on a given proton. As it attacks on a given proton, again it forms a conjugate acid. So this is a general definition of the basic compounds. Now as we studied the definition of these basic compounds, now we have to look towards how this basicity get affected by the some structural aspects. So this basicity is depends upon, or how this basicity is affected. So first of all, this basicity depends upon the availability of electron pair. It depends upon availability of electron pair. So this basicity of a compound depends upon how this electron pair get available. Second case is the tendency of the base to donate electron pair. Tendency to donate electron pair. Tendency to donate the electron pair. And the third important factor is the stability of conjugate acid. Stability of conjugate acid So these are the three important factors which are responsible for the strength of bases. Strength of bases. So what is the meaning of these three different factors? So first thing is that if a given base is there, so what is the availability of electron pair in that base? So it is the main reason of its strength of that basicity is there. Second case is there, how that electron pair is donated by the particular basic compounds, whether it has the tendency to donate the electron pair or not. It also affects the strength of basicity. The third thing is that after the donation of this electron pair, how that stability of conjugate acid is there, whether that conjugate acid becomes stable or unstable. So while considering the strength of the basis of the any substance, we have to take into consideration these three different factors. Now we have to consider now one simple example for studying this particular strength of basis. So first simple example is there. We consider here some examples. So first simple example is there. Methylamine. This methylamine is stronger base. Methylamine is stronger base than ammonia. So this is our first example in order to study the basicity of the two different compounds. So what happens here? This methylamine compound is a stronger base than that of the ammonia. So we have to give the justification. So first of all, if we draw the structure for this methylamine, it is CH3 single bond NH2. So this is a compound called as the methylamine. In this methylamine, what happens? This nitrogen has one lone pair. So as there is a presence of this particular lone pair, so we can say that this compound is behave as a base. As this compound is a base, it must attacks on the H plus. So this is a first case. This is a case number first. Now if we look toward the second example, that is called as the ammonia. So what happens? The structure for this ammonia is a NH3. This NH3 has one nitrogen which having a lone pair of electron. So again it attacks on this particular H plus. So these are the two different examples, methylamine and ammonia. We know that this methylamine is more basic than that of the ammonia. Then the question is that what is the reason? Now if we look toward the structure for this methyl ammonia, it has the presence of one alkyl group that is called as the methyl. We know that this methyl group shows the tendency of donation of the electron density towards the this reaction center or toward this nitrogen atom, and that's why the inductive effect shown by this alkyl group is called as the plus I inductive effect. It shows the plus I inductive effect due to the presence of the methyl group. So what happens when this electron pair get donated to this H plus, then what happens? There is a formation of conjugate acid can be takes place, that is CH3 single bond NH3. Now this nitrogen becomes positive. Now this is called as the conjugate acid of this particular methyl amine. So we have to consider now what is the stability of this particular conjugate acid. As this conjugate acids has a positive charge on this nitrogen, it is called as electron deficient, but at the same time this methyl group shows the plus I inductive effect. It shows the plus I inductive effect, and we know that if a plus I inductive effect is there, it will donate the electron density towards the reaction center, and that's why we can say that due to the plus I inductive effect shown by this alkyl group, this conjugate acids is stabilized. It is a well stabilized. It is stabilized. It is the stabilized conjugate acid. On the other hand, when the ammonia is considered, what happens in the ammonia? This lone pair again attacks on this H plus. As it attacks on a lone pair, it forms one conjugate acid, that is a NH4 plus. Now in this case, there is absence of plus I inductive effect, and that's why the stability of this conjugate acid is less. You can say that it is a less stabilized. It is the less stabilized. So we can say that in this case, due to the presence of plus I inductive effect, the stability of this conjugate acid is more, while in the second case, due to the absence of plus I effect, stability of this conjugate acid is less, and that's why this methylamine is stronger base than that of the ammonia. So this is the first important example for the strength of basicity. So in this case, if we consider the pKa values, the pKa value for this methylamine is pKa for this first compound pKa is equal to 10.6, while in the case of this ammonia, this pKa value is equal to 9.24. So these are the two pKa values. So we have to comment on the magnitude of this pKa value. This pKa value, we can say that pKa value is directly proportional to the strength of bases, strength of base. So we can say that the magnitude of pK is directly proportional to the strength of bases. If pK value is a more, the strength of the particular base is a more. So we can say that this methylamine has the high pK of 10.6, so it is a more basic than that of the ammonia, as it has the pK value is equal to 9.24. So this is a first important example in order to study how this strength of bases is important as far as this inductive effect is considered. So in the current lecture, we discuss in the first section the two different examples of acidity, and after that we started the new point, that is the strength of organic bases. What is meant by organic bases, what are the factors which affect the strength of the bases, and the first example we completed here, that is the methylamine is a stronger base than that of the ammonia. The remaining examples, remaining different points from this strength of basicity, we will study in a next lecture. So with this I stop here in this current lecture. Thank you so much.